I told Pastor Steele and Greg and Kazi at breakfast, Israel only had two problems.
Come on.
Out of all of the litany and the plethora of teaching you've heard about Israel being in 430 years of Egyptian bondage, they only really had two problems. And the problems were they did not want to follow Moses out. Right. And didn't want to follow Joshua in. Say it again. They had only two problems. And the problem was they didn't want to follow Joshua out of bondage. And they didn't want to follow Joshua into a promise. And it's only because they had a hard time recognizing authentic, legitimate, authorized leadership. They were too hooked up to people's opinions that they could not even embrace freedom. Because freedom costs something.
Come on.
And anytime you're too lazy to work, to be liberated, you like staying in bondage. Some folk like being bound because it takes you being accountable to stay free. And some folk don't like obeying leadership. And then I'm going to say something else that's real powerful too. Any great leader is going to get on your nerves. I got to vet through here. You got to hear this real good. Any great leader will irritate, will agitate, and will provoke you.
Yes, sir.
If you're sitting under any type of leadership at all, and it does not provoke you and irritate you and agitate you and make you uncomfortable, then it's not great leadership.
Come on.
Because leadership is designed to push out of you stuff that you have taken for granted. See, folk that are mediocre and average and lukewarm don't like being agitated and irritated and challenged and provoked because they have become so comfortable where they are. And if you got a great leader, they're not always going to say stuff that makes you feel comfortable. In fact, most of the time, you're sitting in church cringing from what you hear, because if it's really a word from the Lord, it does something to your spirit, because most of us like being comfortable because we're too lazy and trifling to take accountability for our own lives. So we place the onus of growth and the potential of growth on who we sit in front of us. But great leadership will make you so uncomfortable until, if you're not careful, you will loosely share your opinion. And that's only because, watch this, it's only because if any man has any defect, a man being blind, that means you don't have vision.
Come on.
You can't see. Most folk in church don't have vision. That's why Jesus said the blind lead the blind. They both fall into a ditch. Let me tell you what's so powerful about that. If the first man is blind and he presupposes to lead, I understand why his butt fell into a ditch. Because how you going to lead and you blind? So I understand how he fell into the ditch, but I don't have any sympathy and empathy and any compassion on the second blind man. Why, Bishop? Because if you blind, you should know the characteristics of blindness. Now, if I'm following somebody and I know I can't see, and we keep bumping into stuff and stumbling over stuff and knocking stuff over, I should stop and say, wait a minute. I know I can't see, but can you see up there? Y'all ain't hear what I'm saying. Most folk in church lead blind people. And they get hooked up to other folk that are just like them. You ain't got no vision, and your best friend ain't got no vision, and y'all wonder why both of y'all in the same condition. Because it's the blind leading the blind. We got folk we are imparting our dreams to that don't have dreams themselves. Oh Lord, I done said something. How you gonna look out for my family when your family is busted and jacked up? How you gonna pray for my children and you can't lay hands on your own demons in your own house? I ain't got no help up in here now. How you gonna be teaching on economic empowerment and you a credit bandit? The devil is a liar. If you are gonna help somebody, you gotta have some vision yourself. Blind, lead blinded, both fall into a dish. We got folk in church that's blind. And then the text says lame. Most of the sisters in here should be able to identify with that. Having a lame companion. It's hard for you to understand a lame companion because when you are accustomed to doing what you have not been assigned to do, because you like having power you don't want to relinquish, you don't mind having half a person. Oh, you missed it right there. You ever heard folks say, that's my better half? Bad statement. You don't need to marry anybody that's half of a person. Come on, where my church at? When you get hooked up to somebody, they better be whole. In fact, if you ain't whole and you ain't sound, if you ain't got your whole mind together, you are not qualified to enter into a relationship with anybody. That's the problem with relationships. We got two halves trying to be whole. No, before I can get connected to you and be a benefit to your life, I gotta be complete and whole and sound and healthy myself. We got too many sick folk in church who are immature trying to handle mature stuff. Lame. Lame don't just mean can't walk. Lame in your thinking.
That's a good word.
Lame in how you process. Lame. And then some of you sisters are spiritual lame enablers. You make excuses for why he can't do no better. Or you always trying to cover up for his deficiencies. You never make him stand up and be responsible man, responsible adult, because you always shoulder his responsibility. You mean to tell me the Bible says that he's supposed to be the head and you're supposed to submit to his authority, and he's driving your car with your insurance, living in your house, using your credit. I guess I ain't got no help up in here now. Your credit score is a 325. Come on now. How you gonna lead somebody if your credit is lame? Blind. Lame. But wait a minute, Steele. He says marred face. See, most of us don't know people's faces are marred because they know how to disguise with makeup so well.
Wow. Preach it.
You got two faces. And you tend to show us the one that you think we want to see when you need something. You always send out your representative first. Lord, help me up in here now. We don't see the real you until the contract is signed. Marred. If you're going to come into his presence, you got to come in taking off all the masks.
Good word.
You got to take off the disguise. And we got too many disguised believers.